All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Matt Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Looks like we've got Darlene in the house today, and it looks like Shock is in the house, banning bots and doing what mods do. Good to see we've got some folks trickling on in. Today, we are going to revisit a couple topics that we talked about last stream and even the stream before, wrapping some loose ends up or buttoning it up or whatever you want to call it. Hey, Belly Bear, good to see you. All right, well, now that we've got a couple more folks coming in, why don't we get the party started? All right. All right, everybody. Hey there, Poppy Shaney. Good to see you. Excellent day. Yes, Poppy Shaney is one of our usuals who is a guy who's used to smoky skies. And today I'd like to share with you a picture that was taken in Seattle, both during one of the smokiest days of this season, and one day later after the rains came. So let's just get into this crazy picture to start the day with. This picture was taken one day apart, 24 hours apart, roughly, right around the same intersection in Seattle. I believe it's Olive Way, looking down towards the downtown area, coming from Capitol Hill, going down towards the water. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a filter that just, brightens the glare of the stoplights. But you can also see that the smoke is its own filter, as it were. And we've got the one on, gosh, can you guess which one's the smoke-filled sky and which one is the rain-filled sky? I think you can. And yeah, exactly, Darlene. What a difference. And as you can tell, these are basically almost identical locations that the pictures were taken. You can match the buildings up. You can see that there's the Paramount sign lit up on the left, but there is the Paramount sign also on the picture on the right, and it is not lit up. And even though the rainy streets aren't necessarily what most people would consider beautiful, in comparison to that photo on the left, I would say that rainy street is incredibly beautiful. I gotta say, the temperature has dropped significantly in the Puget Sound area. They're even calling for some snow in the mountains in a couple days, but I don't care. I can wear socks. Socks are a burden to my feet, but I can wear them because it is worth it to have air that I can breathe. Kenny from the Cove, the pic on the left looks like a bad Kodachrome photo from the 1960s. Absolutely, it really does. And Poppy, yeah, I figured you were pretty used to seeing smoky skies like that. And Gina, good to see you there. All right, people coming in. So Gina, I don't know if you were here just a few seconds ago, so I'm going to show the picture again because I think it's kind of crazy. These are the streets of Seattle, 24 hours apart. The one on the left is during, I believe Seattle was actually some of the worst air quality of any major city in the world for a couple days. Portland and Seattle were vying for the top spots. And then the rain swooped in and made everything shiny and bright. And as you can see on the right, the air is so much cleaner now. So, so yeah, everybody's breathing a little bit easier in our area. I'm not sure. I can only assume that in the California area, people might still have some smoky smoke because California always seems to be on fire this time of year. But, up here in Washington, we are not used to being on fire, and so this year was incredibly odd. Not a whole lot of ash falling from the sky like we talked about the other day, but definitely smoke hanging heavy in the air. The thing is the Puget Sound is located in, sea level and the like, and it's got two mountain ranges on each side of it. It's got the Cascades to the east, it's got the Olympics to the west, and so you basically end up with you basically end up with this big bowl that the smoke settles in, and until the rain came from until the wind came from the ocean with the rain to wash it out, we were just one big bowl of smoke soup. And normally I like soup, but I do not like smoke soup. And oh no, Poppy Shaney, the air in California is great right now, so don't jinx you. Oh my goodness, yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I should not have spoken. I should not have spoken. Kenny from the Cove, California is like a candle. The fire never goes out. I know, right? It's sort of what it seems like. I don't mean to make a joke out of it, Poppy Shaney and everybody who lives in California, but it does sort of seem like a gag candle. It is just abso-flippin'-lutely. Just when you think the fire's out, it spurts back on. And Puzzycat, good to see you. And Belly Bear, no smoke in San Diego, just some drizzle. Excellent. I love drizzle. And Darlene, Wisconsin, I bet, is getting ready to drop in temperature a little bit too. And that's why Rick ran up north to finish closing up. Cooler temperatures and rain coming in a day or two. And Darlene, in your neck of the woods, cooler temperatures or rain, shoot, that might not just be rain. That might be a little chunkier than the average rain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all right, so there we have it today. Excellent. Okay, now another thing let's see, what was it that I wanted to talk about? Oh, yes, I wanted to share with you a very funny video. Now, I don't know. No, okay, actually, I don't know if this is a funny video. I think it's a funny video at the moment, but I have a feeling it might not end up being funny in the future. But let's just see what is going on. I don't know if you remember, but you might. There's this monk seal in Hawaii who gave birth on a beach on Oahu that was very near the tourist areas. One of the tourists got attacked by this particular monk seal named Rocky. Well, now Rocky is still hanging out around Oahu, and Rocky basically just discovered the #1 most high-rated Airbnb amongst the monk seal population. So, let's see what she found.
Folks celebrating a birthday party on Oahu had an uninvited guest show up, and it wasn't your average party crasher. This monk seal made herself at home at the party. Jennifer Alshimmery owns a business that provides luxury picnics. She said she provided one for 4 people yesterday at a beach in Eva, complete with a 5-course meal prepared by a private chef. And as they were serving the 4th course, this monk seal made an appearance.
Then we watched as she just continued into the picnic. She actually ultimately nestled all the way up into the front of the picnic, moves around and throws the pillows around, settles in on one of the pillows, and just starts relaxing.
Alshimmery had no choice but to leave her things there overnight until the seal left this afternoon. The Department of Land and Natural Resources told Alshimmery that the seal was Rocky. Yes, who's made headlines numerous times for giving birth at Kaimana Beach in Waikiki.
All right, so I have a feeling Rocky knows exactly where this is, and she will be showing back up expecting the wonderful pillows, the wonderful canopies, like the royal queen that she is. She wants her royal bedroom set up every evening or every afternoon at a certain time, right? I mean, I have every reason in the world to think that that Rocky is going to show up on that beach again, because it looks like she got a darn good snooze. How many flippin' pillows was she all throwing around and getting all cuddled up with? And so, yeah, Gina, exactly. She just takes over everywhere. The island belongs to Rocky. It ain't a party till a monk seal shows up, says Kenny. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. And, and so I thought everybody could get a little giggle out of that when that crossed my feed the other day. And so Now that we've got the little giggle out of the way, I guess we can talk about something a little bit more serious. And folks here, folks on the stream have asked a couple times whether or not my railroad folks have given me any indication about an upcoming rail strike. We've talked about this on the stream a few weeks ago, and a couple times people have asked for little updates. Well, I can tell you right now, I only spoke to one of my rail workers in the Seattle area. And the rail worker, when I asked him whether or not his people are thinking about striking, his response was simply this meme. Now, why am I telling you this? Why are you thinking that one dude with one meme is actually going to foretell the future of the rail strike? That's a very good point, because one meme is not going to tell you nothing. However, we do have an article from CNBC that talks about the threat of the rail strike ramping up as well. And we definitely have the Rail Workers United Advocacy Group telling all the rail workers to reject its contract. Half of the union workers half of the 12, okay, so there's 12 unions that need to vote on this. Half of them have voted to accept the agreement, but the other half still hasn't voted yet, and so we still don't know. Gina, no, this is not a Seattle strike situation. This is a nationwide strike situation. The very soonest that, so to give a little background, back a few weeks ago, there's big news that the Biden administration swooped in and staved off a rail strike at the very last minute, coming to an agreement between the union workers, between the unions and the rail companies. That was only partially true. What the Biden administration did was throw out a particular tentative agreement that people still needed to vote on. And in the tentative agreement, they were saying that the soonest anybody could strike is November 19th. Now, some of the places still haven't even seen the contract that they're expected to vote on. In fact, one group recently voted to reject their contract, not because they were rejecting the contract, but because the contract truly hadn't been written yet. So there are some unions right now that are actually expected to vote without a contract. And those people are generally saying, yeah, no, we're not going to do this. Now, if you think that CNBC is maybe a little bit not just the only source, so we've got the meme source, then we've got the CNBC source saying that, we might be going on strike. Because as you can see, the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employee Division of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, I'm just going to shorten that to the Teamsters, is the third largest rail union, and they have rejected the deal with the railroads. They have rejected that deal. Now, PBS is also suggesting that the rail strike is getting closer to be a reality. Some of the rail workers, some of the unions, they're not going to be voting until December on their contracts. That being said, the strike can start as soon as November 19th. So, is there going to be a strike? We still don't know. Is the likelihood of a strike, has it gone away? No. Is it looking like a strike very well could happen? Yeah. So do what you need to do to prepare yourself. We already know what supply chain issues can cause havoc in all sorts of things. So if you know that you're a big fan of things like toilet paper, or if you know your house runs on batteries, or whatever your situation is, you just want to make sure that you've got a little bit extra in the house. Shock, there we go. Do you run on bacon? Does your house run on bacon? Then you need to stock up on the bacon. So So let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, bacon. Biden calling the strike averted is just like when Bush hung the mission accomplished banner out in the aircraft. Very similar. Yes, very, very similar. And so, but regardless of whether or not, frankly, I think any administration, Biden, Bush, Trump, etc., they would have tried to come in and avert the strike. And then when the strike didn't happen, any of the administrations would have taken credit for averting the strike. But they actually just were potentially postponing the strike. And Pussycat, well, that is actually the problem, or that is kind of the goal, because the rail workers are the people who run our infrastructure when it comes to getting goods and service, or goods from one side of the country to the other. And right now, rail workers are on call 24/7 and are only allowed 12 days off per year. And so, and the rails are want to have, or in the contract that's being rejected, the rail companies are telling folks who work for them, yeah, those 12 days that you're getting off per year, those personal days, yeah, you need to schedule them way in advance. Well, that's a problem, because when my Aunt Susie dies, I don't know she's going to die way in advance. I don't know when Aunt Susie's going to have her funeral. I can't pre-plan my personal days because sometimes my kids get sick, and I don't actually know if on October 6th, Junior is going to start throwing up and I can't go to work or whatever. And so what they're asking for is actually some pretty basic accommodations that most workers take for granted. And they do happen to have the power to paralyze the nation. And that is what they're going to do if they don't get it. So it is, it is going to be an issue if it's going to be an issue. So let's hope that the rail companies do something to accommodate their workers a little bit better. Because otherwise we are going to have at least probably, worst case scenario, experts are suggesting is they're going to go on strike for maybe a week. And then the government's going to swoop in and mandate that they work, because I guess they can do that. But still, that's going to be a week-long hiccup in an already messed up supply chain situation that we've got going on here and have had going on since the tariffs with China started in August of 2019. So, and I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure the folks who live on the coasts remember this a little bit better, but not that many years ago, we had a longshoreman strike and it paralyzed the ports like nobody's business. I mean, ships were lined up out to the ocean practically at the Puget Sound. And so these things definitely can have a ripple effect. Now, I'm not saying that this will happen, but indications are starting to lean towards a strike being just as likely as not, perhaps even more likely than not. And all I'm saying is keep that in mind, because not everybody seems to have this on their radar. And so this might be the ace up your sleeve when you go to the grocery store and you think, hey, do I really want to buy that extra pound of ground beef to put in the freezer? You know what? Maybe you do want to buy that extra pound of ground beef to put in the freezer. And yeah, your neighbor might not have any ground beef in the freezer once the strike happens, but you planned ahead. And I know that's a very selfish way to look at it, but you work with the knowledge that you have. And by all means, share this knowledge with everybody. Like I said, this information isn't just from one person who I happen to know who sent me a meme, which is the meme, but it's also from some pretty legitimate news sources. PBS, I know that PBS is considered a little bit left-wing, and I know that CNBC is considered a little bit left-wing, but regardless of that, they're still reporting what the unions are suggesting they may or may not do. And so I'm passing that info along to all y'all. And Kenny's saying that you can see federal strike breakers coming. They won't be breaking the strike with federal mandate. Sure hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna, I don't know how it's real. Like, if a strike does happen, I have really no idea how it's gonna play out. I just know that folks who seem to know more about this topic than I do have suggested that, like, oh yeah, they're going to go on strike for a little while and then they're going to be mandated to go back to work and blah, blah, blah. So it's not going to be a huge hiccup, but it's still going to be a hiccup. And a week-long hiccup in a supply chain issue can make or break a huge, can definitely be a huge issue, especially when it comes to perishable items. So, just like we had a bunch of rotten produce at the border of Texas a little while back, we might have a bunch of rotten produce sitting on some trains in the near future. And let's see here, Darlene, it's a scary time that we're in. And yeah, just try to be as prepared as possible. A few extra canned goods or dried good, an extra bit of shampoo, an extra package of meat. Exactly. Yeah. And it's really, the food and stuff is something that you definitely, actually, let me rephrase that. The food and stuff is something that I definitely think of, but it's the little things like bar soap or dish soap or shampoo or whatever that you don't really think about. And then suddenly you're just like, oh, well, that was the last of the Dawn dish soap. And there's no Dawn dish soap in the store. Oh, there's no soap in the store. It's those little things. So maybe take a look around your house and just be like, oh, dude, we're almost out of laundry detergent. Maybe I should go grab the laundry detergent before things, get a little too close to the deadline, as it were. So, and ultimately, a lot of this stuff that you can do to be prepared for it is stuff that you probably should be prepared. You should have on hand anyway, for just any other kind of natural emergency. But we all know that not everybody plans that way. When I say not everybody, I generally am pointing at me. And so it's just always a good idea to be prepared. And now we actually have a concrete deadline. November 19th is when the stuff could be hitting the fan. So you've got about a month to, slowly hoard away some things that you think might be important. And yeah, and that's just what I have to say about that. So like I said, one meme from one union rail worker doesn't mean anything. But when you've got a bunch of news stories to back up that sentiment, things start to get a little bit more real, shall we say. And Kenny from the Cove, you can go a while without shampoo because, well, All right, Kenny, you don't have to hoard up on the shampoo. In fact, if we catch you hoarding shampoo, we're going to give you, what we're going to give you. What we're going to give you. Hold on, let's see if I can find it. We're going to give you, here, this is all the shampoo you need, Kenny, right there. It's all the shampoo you need. Yeah, Pussycat, actually, very, very good point. Just in time for Thanksgiving. Yeah, just in time for the holidays, just in time for the Christmas, goods, and just in time for Black Friday. Yeah, there is a fork ton, shall we say, of problematic issues if there is a rail strike. Now, one of the things that that I think the Biden administration did, and once again, has nothing to do with Biden. It has everything to do with politics and keeping control. Any party would have done this. What Biden did was he basically pushed the negotiations back until after the elections. So he didn't want this to be an election issue or anything like that. And once again, Trump would have done that. Bush would have done that. Obama would have done that. Any politician would have done that because they don't want their, keeping things out of the election cycle is it's what politicians do. So basically by, pushing it back to past the election time, now we're in time for our biggest shopping day of the year, the time of year that most of our merchants actually start to turn a profit, is the holiday shopping season. And so the holiday shopping season might get a little bit more difficult. And actually, now that I think about it, if all y'all have a lot of gifts to be buying for folks, maybe start picking some things. If you've got something in mind, maybe grab them now because they might not be here come, early December. And let's see here. Poppy Shaney, type A. Poppy was already thinking of this and going to Costco tomorrow. There we go. Yes, well, Poppy, I'm glad that you are on the ball, and that's why I love talking about all this with you guys, because I want to make sure that it's at least crossing your mind. And the reason why I say that is because whenever I've mentioned the rail strike in public randomly, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Like, people have completely forgotten about this as an issue. The attention span of most folks is very short, myself included. It just so happens I'm a little paranoid about this particular one topic, and so I haven't forgotten about it. And so, by all means, tell other people about this. I really, that's kind of why I am getting this out there, is because I really, I don't want to see people as surprised and as in such a bad situation as we were when COVID first started. Now, of course, when COVID first started, nobody could have prepped for that. But now that we kind of know what serious supply chain issues and distribution issues and lack of grocery stores stuff in stock issues, now that we really know what it's like, hey man, let's let's maybe prep for that, because let's see here. Hold on one second. Belly Bear is saying, just don't order TP online like you did once. It arrived and the rolls were miniature. You think the package came from China via Amazon? Yeah, and you probably paid like a pretty penny for it too, and I'm guessing, maybe the TP was like for RVs or something, just space saving, but still, you probably paid, what? This one tiny roll costs $18. Yeah. So, but Belly Bear, during the pandemic, I had the unfortunateness of running out of TP as well. So I had to go to Office Depot, or no, Staples? It doesn't matter. It was an office supply store, and get the stupid, that was the only place that had toilet paper, and get the stupid big, actually, I think I've got some here. I'm using it as I'm using it, the see-through stuff, the stuff that is just like completely horrifyingly one ply thin. You can see through it, I think, right? Yeah. The see-through stuff. Yeah, I had to buy some of that. So yeah, let's see here. So Darlene, okay, cool. You just did a run on paper products, laundry soap, so you're okay for that. Good. Andre actually is the master, it sounds like, of emergency prep food, because he does have a lot of dehydrated food, like apparently a dehydrated pumpkin spice cheesecake. Did not know that you could dehydrate cheesecake. And let's see here. Kenny, payday is Friday. The bulk of your time and money will be spent at the grocery store and Sam's Club. There you go. And Andre, you were prepped because you had a little bird telling me that things are going to get bad. So I had been getting ready for some time because I was being warned of bad times. Yeah, well, if you pay attention to things that you generally don't want to pay attention to, sometimes you can actually, find that information useful. Depressing, frightening, but also useful. And so, yeah, exactly, Pussycat. All the toilet paper, I see that you're hoarding it. I already hoarded my toilet paper. So in theory, I should be good for a little while. I have more toilet paper in my house than I think I've ever had in my entire flippin' life. I've got it stashed in my car. I've got it stashed in my bedroom. I've got two packages stashed on top of my living room console thing. I've got some TP. And Astronaut ice cream, there you go. Yeah, that sounds disgusting. And from what I understand, it is. But you might want to have some on hand, because regular ice cream might melt on the rail tracks, because it just will be sitting there. And let's see here. It's kind of more like a cheesecake pudding than real cheesecake, kind of like dehydrated ice cream. Well, you know what? Whatever. Sometimes, even in an emergency situation, sometimes you get a sweet tooth, so you got to do it. And Darlene, with your garden, we got to enjoy, plus freeze some meals for later and squash for a few months too. Nice. Excellent. And Kenny, you still have a big stash of early pandemic toilet paper. Awesome. And Let's see here. Belly Bear used to be a Girl Scout. One of our lessons was be prepared. Hence, you became a slight hoarder of items. It's, I mean, I know that you shouldn't hoard. And so when it comes to like taking all of them off of the shelf, that's rude. But when you gather a little bit at a time and then slowly increase your hoard, I have no problem with that. And that is what I did with the toilet paper. Just so you know, even though I fully have hoarded toilet paper, I didn't do it all at once. I just did it. I just bought more often. Shock, they sold astronaut ice cream at the NASA Langley gift shop. Interesting. It went over well at summer camp. Yeah, I've heard about that, but I didn't know that they still sold it. For some reason, I thought that they didn't sell it, but I guess Andre's saying they always sell astronaut ice cream at all the science museums. I must not go to very many science museums. They don't, yeah. I mean, the Museum of Flight in Seattle, which I don't know, I would think that that's a science museum. They don't sell astronaut ice cream there, but then again, the Museum of Flight isn't really a science museum, I guess. It's more of a flight museum. Either way, that's beside the point. I have to ask you guys, astronaut ice cream, is it room temperature? Or do you keep it cold? Like, what makes it ice cream? So it's dried, so it's not cold. And, okay, so it's room temperature. So it's not really ice cream then. It's just cream. Because, I mean, I don't know. I guess melted ice cream is still ice cream. And so I don't know. That just seems really weird. Let's see here. Belly Bear, you knew prices were going to go up and you're glad you brought your arts and craft items when you did. Totally. That makes sense. It's crunchy ice cream in a dry bar. God, that just sounds awful. Kenny from the Cove was saying that the astronauts didn't like it, and I gotta say, you guys are not selling it. It does not sound good at all. Yeah, it's definitely a novelty item, I would say. But I have to say, as much as Tang should be a novelty item, when I was a kid, I really liked Tang. And I'm sure as an adult, I'd probably drink it now and just be like, what the hell was I thinking? But when I was a kid, dude, Tang was like one of my favorite flippin' beverages. And, so, okay, Darlene's asking a very good question. Dehydrated ice cream, do you rehydrate it again like pudding? No, I guess. Andre, there's grapefruit Tang? Wait, what? I thought that Tang only came in orange juice flavored. I had no idea that there was different flavored Tangs. And, let's see here. Oh, Pussycat, you found out that the blue gummy bear is raspberry. I wondered if it was blue raspberry that you had last night. Because blue is usually the raspberry flavor. But in Hawaii at Matsumoto's Shave Ice, their blue was actually pineapple flavor. So, let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, as a kid, you single-handedly kept up Tang's profit margin. Yeah, I'm not really surprised. And, let's see here. So Belly Bear, I volunteered at the food bank warehouses and they told us you can eat dry food products 1 year after the expired date. Liquids, including peanut butter, is 3 months. Okay, so Anne is saying, okay, now Anne Ware is coming in. Hi there, Anne, by the way. So Anne is coming in with a description that is the most palatable so far of this dehydrated ice cream situation that we've got going on. And she said, you don't rehydrate it. It rehydrates in your mouth for a taste explosion. Now, see, Anne, you need to be doing the PR for this thing that is astronaut ice cream, because every other description that folks were giving, you made it, your description made me say, okay, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll put that in my mouth. Hey, Hole Crusher 56, we are talking about Astronaut ice cream. And we're talking about how Tang was delicious when we were a kid, but now it is probably not very good. And so let's see here. Looks like we've got Cash Money Gang Sheet. Cash Money Gang Sheet coming in. Hey guys, welcome to Chatter with Statter. I am Mad Statter, and you're part of the Statterbox crew now that you're speaking up. Talking about various and assorted dehydrated foods. And the reason why we were talking about that is because we have got a rail strike that might be coming as soon as November 19th. And so if you're in the United States of America, you might want to stock up on some food items. And then now we got talking about dried fruit items for emergency stuff. And Belly Bear, you're telling me you've seen Tang in a mango flavor and pineapple. Wow. Okay. I guess, see, I am clearly not familiar with the rainbow of flavors that Tang has to offer, because I always just thought of it as the orange breakfast drink. And let's see here. Astro ice cream, that stuff. And let's see here. Yes, Tang comes in many flavors. Got it. So let's see here. You had ice cream, Astronaut ice cream before. You and your girl got freaky with that. Oh, okay. Well, that, there you go. I don't know though. It sounds like it's kind of crunchy, so I'm not so sure that would be, a fun thing to do. But okay. So, it sounds like we've got, okay. Now, Andre, actually, I'm a little bit, okay. So yes, Tang does come in many flavors. So I'm going to assume that your grapefruit flavor is in existence. We obviously know about the orange flavor, and then it sounds like there's a pineapple flavor, and it sounds like there's a mango flavor. Does anybody know of any other, it was a one-time thing. Fair enough. Does anybody know of any other Tang flavors that they have? I would assume that there's got to be a Tang lemonade, right? Or maybe Country Time lemonade is just good enough for that, so you don't need Tang. Let's see here. Belly Bear, ice cream Dippin' Dots. Yeah, Dippin' Dots are weird. I'm not a fan of Dippin' Dots, actually. The texture is, I don't like the mouthfeel of the Dippin' Dots. Yeah. So let's see here. Darlene, you only remember, the orange Tang, but there's so much out there. Just go down water drinks. Yeah. I don't ever go down that aisle. That's it. Hole Crusher, you used a watermelon Tang? Oh, wow. I'm going to have to go explore the universe of Tang here. And I know you guys, such a silly double entendre of a name, but that's the name of the dehydrated beverage. So, let's see here. Hey, Cash Money, we are actually a family-friendly chat, so just keep that in mind when you're chatting. And Belly Bear, Tang has 16 flavors? Holy flirkin' snit, dude. No way. And that is, wow. Okay. What do you know? Okay. So, Poppy Shaney, though, also does not care for the Dippin' Dots. Of course, nothing compares to the treats of the Shock residents. Well, and Poppy Shaney, am I making this up, or am I making this up, or didn't you have homemade ice cream? Homemade ice cream when you were over there? So that's got to be better than any flippin' Dippin' Dot. And Cash Money and Hole Crusher, you guys are making me laugh. And I can tell you guys, like, when it comes to me being offline, I have a sailor mouth as well. So I get it. It happens. Sometimes the words come flying through your fingers. It happens. But just, slow your roll a little bit. And Cash Money, I'm glad that you are all just like, yep, that was me, all right. So You guys have some good attitudes about this. Thank you so much for coming in and trying to be friendly. Doing your best to be the best. And yeah, shock, it was your husband's homemade ice cream. And so, I mean, homemade ice cream is, Dippin' Dots ain't got nothing on homemade ice cream, right? Right? There you have it, rabbit. All right. So let's see here. There's a reason you stay married. That's so cute. It's all for, you're just in it for the ice cream. Okay, there you go. And yeah, Darlene, exactly. Homemade anything is the best. I made myself some homemade clam chowder last night, and I have to tell you, man, it is better than any kind of clam chowder you're going to get in the can. And I was so proud of myself for making it. It was very, very tasty. And C Honda, good to see you. I'm glad you're here, C Honda. We're talking about, let's see. Wow, we're talking about a bunch of things here. Potential rail strike. And then we're talking about, actually, we seem to be talking about dehydrated foods a lot right now. And Hole Crusher, your homie Deshaun just texted that he once has Tang raspberry. So raspberry, that doesn't surprise me, I guess. Now, I guess my next question is, oh my gosh, Belly Bear, you're doing even more research, and now you see online Tang has 25 flavors, and it probably depends on what country you're in. Oh, I'll bet you it does. But now that I'm thinking about it, okay, so you get all these flavors of Tang, right? You could probably mix and match and make your own flavor combo. Like, you could do a little bit of orange with a little bit of pineapple, or like a little bit of orange with a little bit of raspberry, or whatever, I'll bet you could create your own little designer drinks. And that actually suddenly, I know I started off saying that, like, I don't like Tang now, but suddenly I'm in the mood. I want to go try all these different Tang flavors. Oh no, Pussycat, I forced you into it. Now you're going to get some cookies, for crying out loud. There you have it. Oh, shock. Vodka and raspberry Tang. That actually could work, but actually, and see, this is not something you should do, but it is something I probably would do. What if you just put raspberry Tang in the vodka? Don't prepare it in the water, just, flavor the vodka with it. I'll bet you that would be dangerously dangerous. So, okay, Hole Crusher. Yeah, Deshaun is in Thailand and he's got the raspberry Tang hookup there. That makes sense. And actually, I know a couple people who've moved to Thailand recently, and Thailand, it seems like it's where it's at these days. Super cheap cost of living, very westernized, a kind of ahead of the game in some technology, rather, as far as like public transit and as far as grocery stores and things like that. So Deshaun sounds like he might be, I wouldn't be surprised if Deshaun decides he's never coming back from Thailand, because everybody I know who's moved to Thailand, they're very pleased with their choice. Yeah, shock. Thai healthcare, way better than what we've got in the United States. Way cheaper, way more thorough. So, Deshaun might be homesick, but then again, you might want to go visit him and see what's up in Thailand, because from what I understand, it's a really long plane ride, of course, but what I understand, it's where people are choosing to retire to these days from the United States, because they're so westernized and yet still so affordable in comparison to what we've got here in the United States. And let's see here. Oh, Darlene, you're a bit upset. The package you sent you that should be there already, the post office claims undeliverable. And now you have to see where it will be. That's very strange. Darlene, I'll send you a Facebook message after the stream, and we can talk about that. We can talk about what to do in the future about that. I don't know why it's undeliverable. I've been getting mail I still get still get my mail, but I have another address that we can use that is probably going to be a little bit better. But I really don't know what was up with that. So keep me updated on what the snafu is, or let me know if I can do anything on my end to go track it down. Because if it's sitting somewhere at some post office on my end, I'll go grab it, no problem. If they can't figure out where I'm at, then I'll go be where they're at. And I know you've sent stuff to that very same address with no issue before. So I don't know. It's very strange. But like I told you a couple days ago, sorry guys, this is me and Darlene having a personal conversation. But like I told you, Darlene, a couple days ago, the mail in my area has been very strange. So I don't know if they've just got like a bunch of new people or I don't know what is going on. But this is just another example of like, what is going on with my mail in my area? And let's see here. Kenny, Tang in vodka, what would you call that? A Russian eye opener? Well, I would call it dangerous. Because to me, vodka is already easy enough to drink anyway. So to make it just a slightly more flavorful means that I'm going to probably wake up in some stranger's bathtub with my kidney missing or something, because I would drink way too much of it. Let's see here. But though, Shock does bring up a good point. You'd call it a pre 9mm head cold. Yeah, I think though, yeah, Tang in vodka would definitely, I would think, be a little sweet and maybe cause a little bit of a hangover, shall we say? But, let's see here. Poppy Shaney, Jello shot vodka. Jello shot Tang and vodka. Well, now that's an idea. That is an idea. And, yeah, Kenny, I had no problem getting your stuff, but you sent it to a different address than Darlene sent it to. That's why I'm going to give her the address that you sent it to. Because the post office, they know where P.O. boxes are. The post office can figure out how to get to post office boxes, but apparently they can't figure out how to get to a house that gets mail delivered by them every day anyway. So yeah. Shock, no way they wouldn't take your kidney with that much alcohol in it. Well, I don't know, dude. I mean, if they're if they're taking my kidney out in some rando's bathtub, I don't really think that they're going to care too much about the alcohol content in my system. Yes. Oh, there we go. A Russian sunrise. That sounds like a good one, Kenny. And, yeah, you self-inflict the head cold without a doubt. And, Andre, these drinks sound like they could be at the Unicorn. Possibly, actually. Shock, it wouldn't be accepted at point of sale. Got it. Well, that's good to know then. I guess maybe I'll keep myself under constant vodka saturation. That way the kidney thieves won't come and grab it from me. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, okay, so speaking of random things that happen and maybe waking up in someone's, bathtub that you don't know, if that sounds like something that maybe Florida man might do, well, you're probably right. Florida man might do something like that. And we talked about Florida man last stream a little bit, and both Vanilla Coke Pepsi and Shock were trying to explain to me why there is Florida man and how come Florida man happens. And they were saying it's because of the sunshine laws that are within the Florida has sunshine laws, meaning that their public records are very, very easily accessible. And that is the excuse that Florida likes to tell everybody why there is such thing as Florida man. CNN has picked up this talking point. It's in Wikipedia. The Miami Herald has this talking point, and I disagree wholeheartedly. It's a lie. I'm telling you, it's a lie. Well, it's not really a lie, but it is just an excuse, and it's no reason for Florida man. The reason for Florida man, well, first off, let's get back to these laws that they are quoting. Why Florida has Florida man. And that's the open records laws. And you can easily get records about all the crimes and all the things. Well, here's the deal. Virtually every single state in the union has these laws. And in fact, the Sunshine Laws, as they're referred to in Florida, have over 1,000 exceptions. Tennessee has a Sunshine Law with only 500 exemptions. So Florida already has open records laws that have twice as many exemptions as Tennessee. And Tennessee doesn't even have that good of a record. Washington State has open record laws, and you don't hear much about Washington State. The states that have the openest of open record laws are California, Connecticut, and New York. So if the open records laws were the reason for Florida man, California man, and New York man, I don't know about Connecticut man. He's probably too uptight. But you know that New York man and California man would be up there with Florida man. So, Thomas the Turtle, hey, good to see you coming on in. And let's see here. But before we're going to talk more about Florida man, I'm going to talk about what Pussycat just said. A shot of vodka and some Rose's lime juice. Is that a vodka gimlet? Give that to me right now. That sounds delicious. That sounds so delicious. But let's see here. Andre, I don't know. You thought that Florida man just went down there to be Florida man, and Kenny, Florida man, because Florida, that's why. Sort of, but no, actually, you guys, what really ended up happening was in the mid 2000s, right around 2012, there was a website called FARC that started tracking Florida man stories. And the Florida man stories really hit big back in 2012 because, I don't know if you remember this, I sure do, the guy ate somebody's face. The cannibal face eater, Florida man cannibal face eating guy on bath salts or whatever the heck he was on. Actually, I think he was just on weed, so that was weird. But anyway, once that story hit, Florida man became a trend, became something that was tracked among social media. GQ even had a Twitter handle at Florida man, and the reason why Florida man is very easy to find is because, and this is true for any state, journalistic rules, integrity, standards are that you don't name who you're talking about in the first sentence or two of an article. Let's just say Bob Jones was the face eater. All right. Now, I don't know what that guy's name was, but Bob Jones of Florida ate somebody's face. Well, they're never going to start an article off that says Bob Jones of Florida ate somebody's face, because if you don't know Bob Jones, you don't really care. What they always start off with is a Florida man ate someone's face. His name was Bob Jones or whatever. So because of that journalistic style, it's very easy to do a search for Florida man or Florida woman or California man or New York man or whatever. Has nothing to do with the public records laws at all. Florida likes to say it has to do with their public records laws, but their public records laws aren't even the most open in the nation. Like I said, California, New York, and Connecticut are. So really, Florida man can be traced back to basically that face eating guy, and then all of the Twitter handles and things that have sprung up in the last 10 years from it. So the Miami Herald likes to say it's because of their Sunshine State laws. It's not. Now, in defense of Florida, they were the first state to do these open government laws. So much so, they were groundbreaking in passing these laws. Florida actually was like on the forefront of open government and awesomeness back when they made their laws in the 70s about this. They were the first state, and other states took notice, and they actually did create similar laws. So Florida has every reason to be proud of their laws. In fact, their laws are held as like the forerunner, so much so that even Washington State, on our state attorney general website, refers to them as sunshine state laws. So Florida can totally take credit for open government laws in all 50 states. Florida really should be proud of themselves for that. But their laws are not the easiest, are not the most open. There's actually other states that have better open records acts. And so the reason for Florida man isn't just those laws. It's a host of other things too. So Florida absolutely can be proud of those laws and should be proud of those laws. But those laws are not the reason for Florida man. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I have very little doubt in my mind that if somebody did a concerted search for California man or New York man, we would probably find some very, very similar stories happening here too. Now, I'll be the first to admit, we're probably not going to have in like California or New York, we're probably not going to see a headline like California man arrested for throwing an alligator through a drive-through window. But that's just because alligators aren't necessarily that accessible in California. But hot sauce saves California man after car crashes into Taco Bell. That totally could happen, right? I mean, I'm not really sure how the hot sauce saved Florida man after the car crashed into Taco Bell, but that is a headline that I'm reading right there. And, naked New York man starts house fire after baking cookies on George Foreman grill. I could see that happening in, well, maybe not New York, but California. And so, Florida man, New York man dons Spider-Man mask during liquor store robbery. I could totally see that happening in New York or California or Seattle or Alabama for that, So yeah. So, there's some things like Ann is saying, throw alligators into the mix and things, the crazy kind of tops the news. There is absolutely no two ways about that. And see, right. Okay. So Andre coming in with a perfect example. California man throws beehives at cops trying to evict him. See, that sounds like a Florida man thing, but it wasn't. It was a California man. So let's see here. And Andre also brings up a good point. When somebody does something horrible in California, they tend to blame it on the city they live in, especially if it happens in San Francisco or Los Angeles. Right, exactly. So yeah, so that brings up another good point. You might have less of a chance of getting a California man headline because it would probably be San Francisco man throws beehives at the cops trying to evict him or whatever, which I did hear about that actually. And I was like, Anne, it's like, oh, don't mess with the bees. But at the same time, I kind of had to giggle because it is a very effective weapon, I have to say. Throwing beehives at officers, they're not going to come for you very, they're not going to come for you in a swarm because the swarm is coming for them. And Belly Bear, that's right. In San Diego, you had a guy who stole a military tank and drove it around. And the sad ending, of course, the cops did have to put him down, as it were. But once again, California man steals military tank, drives it on city street. Could you see that as a Florida man headline? I could, but clearly it's a California man headline. And okay, Darlene, there's all kind everywhere. There's H-man up north. Don't talk about H-man, especially around a campfire up north. Okay, so I want to know what H-Man is because we're not around a campfire and we're not up north. So we're allowed to talk about H-Man. What is H-Man? And okay, right. See, Andre, to further Andre's point, they didn't say California man. They said San Diego man stole the military tank, et cetera, et cetera. But still, though, I'm telling you, I could totally see that as a Florida man headline. I mean, could we not all see that as a Florida man headline? And Kenny from the Cove, exactly. Florida man has a way better press agent than all other mans. You got it. And that's it. Because when GQ actually has a Twitter feed called @FloridaMan, well, you're gonna get a lot of headlines that have Florida man in them. And let's see here. And there's more of a strange Florida stereotype backwood man that comes to mind than from other states. I can appreciate that, especially the panhandle. But I also feel like when it comes to backwoods, Louisiana, Alabama, all those swampy Gulf Coast states all seem to have that potential. But, you know, Alabama man has a really crummy press agent, apparently, because we don't get to hear about Alabama man. And let's see here. Andre, yeah, they've got the alligators, the sharks, the boas, the narcos, the barracuda. They also have pythons. I don't know how many boas they've got there, but I know that they've got a bunch of pythons. And so, and yep, the swamp people are related. Cue the banjo riff. Exactly. So seriously, like, I feel like Florida has a lot of reasons to have Florida man. Legit reasons, but I really feel like, you know, other states could definitely have their own Florida men, as it were. And yeah, Andre, I have to agree, and I'm sure people from Australia would disagree, and people from Florida would be like, what are you talking about? But Florida really is the Australia of the United States. It seems like the chances of some random thing that you might step on killing you really seems to be increased in Florida, just like it is in Australia. And let's see here, Kenny. You get so much bank repping Florida man, Louisiana man, and Texas man. The Kenny from the Cove agency will be in the black for good. Oh, that's right. They had a tiger guy too, and a tiger girl. Wasn't Carol Baskin? Wasn't that whole thing in Florida? Hey, Malka, how you doing? We are talking about Florida man and how Florida man came to be, and how some Florida men or some states might have their own Florida men. They just don't get the headlines that the Florida man gets. And let's see here. Maybe the stories are always from well-populated areas because the sensationalism sells more headlines. Well, actually, I feel like you're totally onto something, eMusic. I wouldn't be surprised also, though, if some media outlets specifically do run a Florida man headline because they know it's going to get the clicks. They know it's going to get more views, you know, and that's kind of what you're trying to do with headlines, is to reel people in. And so, and let's see here, Gina, you don't hear stuff like that happening in Maryland. Well, remember when I was talking about the open records laws, and Connecticut, New York, and California were the ones with the most, and I said that New York and California probably have their own man, but Connecticut probably doesn't. I would say Maryland probably in the same boat, just not quite as outrageous potential in Connecticut as say New York or California. But I do have to wonder, Gina, are there any headlines for Baltimore man? Because Baltimore man might be a little rowdier than Maryland man. You know what I'm saying? And the Tiger King was from Oklahoma? Oh, okay. I thought I wasn't sure, Kenny. Okay, yo, you probably remember. I haven't watched the Tiger King in a long I only watched it once, and I don't remember. Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, and then of course we've got Goat Man, but that's really a Hawaii thing. Hee hee. And and Kenny from the Cove, by the way, Florida Man is available for children's party, bachelorette parties, bar mitzvahs, christenings. Nice. Yeah, exactly, Gina. You can see some crazy stuff happening in Baltimore. Precisely. So yeah, there we go. And well, Puerto Rico though is one of our. I don't think it's illegal for Puerto Ricans to for people from Puerto Rico to come to the mainland. They're one of our territories, aren't they? I don't know how that works though. But I thought that they had freedom of movement. I thought that they were allowed to come and go as they pleased. And let's see here. To be fair, Minnesota man woman has its own legit visual: flannel plaid, down parka, fuzzy hat with ear flaps. Wearing person who's creepily cheerful. Yes, there you go. Let's see here. Yeah, I thought that Puerto Ricans were U.S. citizens, so they're allowed to come to Florida. And since half their island was wiped out in the hurricane, it totally makes sense they went to some place that, well, had electricity, shall we say? Yeah, I thought that they had U.S. passports. So, but like I said, I'm not sure because I've never been to Puerto Rico. So, let's see here. Yes. So, all right. So let's see here. One more little graphic that we already saw, but, I still want to see it, because it's funny. Florida Man sings Don't Stop Believin'. I love it. Let's see here. Florida Man throwing alligator through drive-through window. Florida Man assaulted his roommate with a pizza. I could totally see New York Man assaulting his roommate with a pizza. Everything about that headline could have been a New York headline. Because first off, a lot of people in New York have roommates. I don't think I need to explain to you the association with New York and pizza. So, doesn't it stand to reason that New York Man might assault his roommate with a pizza? So, so you know. But in New York, why waste good pizza? Well, now I'm about to say something that is purposefully controversial, and having never had either of these things, I truly cannot say what is better. But you know what, Anne? Maybe that's why Connecticut Man never has that headline, Connecticut Man assaults his roommate with a pizza, because Connecticut pizza is better than New York pizza. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Now, do I know it? No, I don't, because I've never had Connecticut pizza and I've never had New York pizza. I just know that when people from Connecticut tell people from New York that their pizza is better, lives are lost. It becomes a bloody battle to the death. Who has better pizza, Connecticut or New York? And, let's see here. Shock. Connecticut Man is too busy exceeding the speed limit to order pizza. Oh, well, that's cool. I want to hang out with Connecticut Man because I don't really, speed limits are just a suggestion. And Shock Pizza Rat absconded with the murder weapon. There you go. Exactly. So let's see here. Yeah, exactly. New York Pizza Rat had the right idea. Abso-flippin'-lutely, you guys. I mean, that was like the equivalent of those big pizzas that are like, 3 feet across or whatever. That pizza slice for that rat was like the equivalent of one of those huge, record-setting pizzas. And, let's see here. So, and Oh, really, Pussycat? Okay, now I find this to be very strange. But gambling is illegal in Florida? I mean, there's stuff that's illegal in Florida? Um, that's so funny. Um, wow. Gambling is illegal in Florida, except on the Indian reservations. Who'd have thunk it? I can honestly say that surprises me. That totally surprises me. And yeah, Kenny from the Cove, I've heard tons of people say that Connecticut pizza is better too. That's why I was saying it. But honestly, I really don't know because I've never been to either Connecticut nor New York. So I cannot say. Now, if anybody wants to sponsor me a trip to the East Coast, I will happily go and do a pizza tour. I will go to Connecticut and I'll eat their pizza. I'll go to New York and eat their pizza. Shoot, you guys want to send me to Detroit? I'll even go try Detroit style pizza. I don't necessarily need to go to Chicago to try Chicago style pizza because one, it doesn't look very good. And two, I can get that in West Seattle. And so, Pussycat, you have a lottery. Doesn't almost every state have a lottery? I mean, I remember, I thought that most states had lotteries. Oh, you know what? I don't think Hawaii has a lottery. But I might not know what I'm talking about because I don't know what I'm talking about a lot of times. And Belly Bear, Puerto Rico and Guam are both territories. They are U.S. citizens but can't vote and don't have the same privileges. Yeah, but they can still, travel freely. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Gina, yeah, Hawaii doesn't have a lottery. Okay. And then, no gambling at all in Hawaii. Not even scratch tickets. You know, now that I think about it, last time I was there were no scratch tickets. And usually, I try to do a scratch ticket when I'm in different states just to see if I win, I guess. And let's see here. So now what? So shock. Leto pizza is square because Leto doesn't cut corners. Real slogan. Completely belied the need to cut corners. Yeah, that's a very strange. That's a very strange. That is a very strange slogan because it's like, but your pizza is the pizza that does have the corners that you have to cut. It's the round pizzas that don't have the corners. Okay, then. So eMusic. Okay, no scratch tickets in Hawaii. I guess that makes sense. And okay, C Honda. That's why the locals love Vegas so much. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I like to, now that you mention it, of course, right. Yeah. They have gambling, but it's illegal. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There is gambling everywhere, really. One time though, I went to Oregon and I got myself a little scratch ticket and I won $10. And then I, left it in the back of my car and I didn't cash it in. And then I went home to Washington State and that little $10 lottery ticket stayed on the floor of the backseat of my car for probably a year. And then I was in Oregon again and I had no money and I needed to get home. And so I went and I was like, hey, wait, I think I still have that $10 lottery ticket. And so I went and found my $10 lottery ticket and it was like cash in the bank. I got myself some $10 and I got to go home. So let's see here. Belly Bear, you heard the best lottery is in Canada and you think you don't have to pay taxes? That's crazy talk, but okay, let's do that. That sounds fantastic. Too bad Vanilla Coke Pepsi isn't here to confirm or deny this theory of ours, but let's just assume that's true, shall we? And then, we'll find out later it's not, and then we'll point and laugh at ourselves, which is exactly why we have this particular emote, because sometimes we think things and then we realize it's wrong. And Belly Bear, you think Hawaii has bingo? I don't know. Would that be considered gambling? Because some things are really weirdly considered gambling, even though it's not gambling. Wow. Oh, dude, you hit Powerball for 50,000 in 2016? Holy flirking snit, dude. That would be awesome. And let's see here. Well, Andre, yeah, but if you but if you live in Canada, you wouldn't have to come back to the United States. And actually, you don't even have to come back to the United States. Once you file a tax, if you're a U.S. citizen and you win Canadian lottery, obviously you're going to have to pay U.S. taxes. Even if the Canadians don't take their cut, the U.S. absolutely will. But if you're a Canadian and you don't have to come back and you don't live in the United States isn't going to tax you. And so, and you don't have to come back into the country to get taxed. You just get taxed, at the next tax year, for the 2021 filing year, you'd be taxed on that return. And so, let's see here. And, let's see. No, Andre, actually, you can move to Canada, if you've got a good job. You don't have to be related. My coworker actually lives in Canada. Granted, she is married to a Canadian, but she lived in Canada way longer before they got married. So she was up there with her for quite some time. But as long as she had employment and proved that she had enough money to support herself when she was there, and that she had a legit reason, which was her girlfriend, but. Yeah, you can, you don't have to, it's easier, but you don't have to be related to somebody. You just have to be a little bit rich. And so, wow, take home was 985 million, largest jackpot, ever. Let's see here. I don't know. Oh, wow, you missed 1.6 billion by one ball. Wow, that's crazy. See, I don't even know how to play those games. I just do the little scratch tickets, and I don't win big, but I can tell you this much right now. Last Friday, I spent $10 on scratch tickets and I won $14. So I'm a high roller, y'all. $14. Can't stop me. I'm a gambling fool. My $10 paid back 100% plus a 40% increase. That was 140% win to money spent. Yeah, I could go to, you're right. I can go to a casino, and I generally don't, because why would I? I barely have enough money to live, let alone gamble in a real way. But, but, $10 on scratch tickets, I can throw that down a little bit. I have to say though, my best gambling experience, and this is true, it was a real gambling experience. I went to go play blackjack with one of my friends at a casino that we have here in Washington. So he wanted to go play blackjack. I did not have money to go spend on gambling, because generally speaking, my attitude for gambling is, here is X amount of money that I'm going to spend on gambling, and it's going to last me for as long as it lasts, and it's going to be fun for the evening, but I don't expect to take it back. This is spent money. Money that I'm gambling is spent money. I do not expect to have it back when I leave the casino. So we go, I take $100 from my account that I really didn't have. I really shouldn't have been. He had $100. So we went and played blackjack for a little while. Well, he lost his shirt so flippin' fast. He was done. He was out. He was poor. He had nothing. Well, when he cashed out, I had $118. And so I was like, well, the whole reason why I'm here is now done. So I'm cashing out too. So ended up going home and putting that $100 back in the bank. Woohoo! So we had $18. That was enough for like 2 drinks or whatever. And so that was, I consider that my most fortunate gambling event ever, because it was real gambling. We were playing blackjack, and I put all the money that I couldn't afford to take out back in my bank. So, yeah. Let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, you're sitting on a $2 winner from Lotto, Texas. Down payment on a double Whataburger. You got it. You got it. And let's see here. The odds of getting more money is much better if one saves and invests in it rather than gambling. Well, that's true. That's true. But Pussycat though, 37.5, that's nothing to sneeze at. I'd be stoked. I mean, that's a brand new flipping car right there. And blah, blah, blah. My little $10 gambling habit, my $10 a week gambling habit is I do the scratch cards. I don't have one to show you. I do the little bingo scratch cards. So it takes a really long time to like do the card. And so I look at my $10 scratch ticket habit, because it is, I spend $10 a week, more as an entertainment. Like, here's, 2.5, 3 hours worth of entertainment for $10, rather than an actual like, oh, I hope I'm going to win. I consider, even if I don't win anything, I still consider it money well spent, in the sense that like, there aren't a lot of things that you can do for 2 hours that only cost $10. So, hour for hour, dollar for dollar, it's like, not so bad. But like I said, this week I won 14. I won $14. Yeah, I won $14. And, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Darlene, you do that too, right? You just go in with a certain amount, and then you win small amounts, but you've had a good time doing whatever. And oh, Pussycat, you got 2 Mustangs. Nice. That would help explain why you've got so many cars in your garage, so to speak. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you've got a garage big enough for all the cars. It sounds like you have, but we'll just call it a garage. And let's see here. Kenny, when you play the big 3 that are available in Texas: Powerball, Mega Millions, and Lotto Texas, all for only $8. Yeah, I just don't know how to. There's like paperwork involved with those. I just don't even know how to do the things. But I do know, because Washington has those too. I mean, they have Washington Lotto, not Texas Lotto, but they've got the Mega Millions and Powerball here in Washington as well. And I always know when the jackpot is super huge, when the line out the 7-Eleven, the line is like all the way around the 7-Eleven. And Pussycat, you gave one to your son. Beautiful. All right, so then that's one less car in your garage. Let's see here. And yeah, definitely, statistically speaking, it's probably a better investment to invest than it is to gamble. But investment is its own form of gambling in and of itself, right? I mean, that is, stocks really are kind of a high-end gamble, and that's why mutual funds are what they are, because it helps to, give you a buffer on all that gambling. One might lose, one might win, another one might win. And so, yeah, exactly, Darlene. Long lines, bigger jackpot. Yeah. And see, the thing is, though, so when the lines are, super long, that's when I'm like, oh, I probably should, play. But because I don't know how to play, then it's like, well, now you're going to be holding up the line and making everybody annoyed at you. So maybe you should just not play because you don't know how to play. And, yeah, so I never do that because I don't know how to play. And, Pussycat, you also paid some bills. Very good plan. Honestly, I think if I won $37,000, I'd probably just throw it all at my house just to get my house payment, or not get my house payment down, but get my principal down. That's what I'm trying to say there. So let's see here. And yeah, exactly, Kenny from the Cove. A jackpot win would be super, but if you win back your $8, you're stoked. That's exactly it. That's why my $14 win on a $10 purchase, I'm sitting here bragging about, because it's awesome. I that's cool. I won my money back plus $4 whole. And that means that, that means I got I only have to pay $6 out of my pocket next week for my $10 habit. And, so, and, let's see here. most people don't take the safer route in investing. If you do the safe, it's better. Well, I guess it all depends on how you invest. Because I'll tell you, if you invest, like through workplaces and stuff, they usually, the 401ks and stuff that they offer and what you can get, they're usually like mutual fund based. And so, you really, you can go wrong with mutual funds, but, but yeah, people who don't have the pre-packaged investment options can definitely make some interesting decisions. Yeah, like I'm going to just put all my money in gold. It's like, okay, that's cool. Maybe not though, but okay. And, let's see here. Wow, Pussycat, you started with an $8 win and then you bought 4 Powerball tickets. Now that sounds super awesome. Now, see, that's some good investing right there. $8 turned into $37,500. That's amazing. That is amazing. And yeah, Andre, you're right. A lot of big winners do have bad things happen to them, but I don't know. Now, would like 50,000 be considered, would 50,000 be considered a big winner in a lottery? I'm not so sure. People who win at that level are the ones who get royally screwed the way the big winners do. And yeah, the big winners, it seems like it's more of a curse than a blessing once everything is said and done, from what it sounds like. And so let's see here. Andre, right, nothing bad can happen with cryptocurrency. Not one bad thing at all. And so Belly Bear, okay, you're coming down with, oh, you thought you won $1 million, Pussycat, right? Yeah, that would have been a little bit of a letdown, I suppose. But still, though, 37, not bad at all. But Belly Bear, you're telling me for the lotto, you can just do quick pick. Tickets are $1 to $2. Otherwise, you have to just choose your favorite numbers, and that's it. You can check winners online or go back to the store and scan your ticket. I knew you can scan the ticket. I did know that. But I didn't know. Okay, so quick pick is what I have to do. All right. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. And and let's see here. Shock, never steal less than $1 million was your old boss's mantra. Now it would probably be 6. You can live on that forever somewhere else. Absolutely. That, it's funny you should say that, because I've said that to my boss a couple times, because I have access, to all of the money that our company has. And so, I did mention, it's just like, or she mentioned something about trusting me with, all of her money. And I was just like, well, it's like, no offense, boss. I was like, but I wouldn't steal all your money because you don't have enough money to make it worth my while. Because if I stole all this money, I would be in a ton of trouble and I wouldn't have very much money to get away. But if you had more money, then you'd be at a much bigger risk for me stealing it, because then I could get away with it. And so, and let's see here. Stosic, actually, do I think that beavers actually build dams as homes, or do they see water flowing freely and they're like, absolutely not? Both. Absolutely. What causes a dam to be built is the sound of flowing water, and they will go and stop that sound of flowing water, because absolutely not. But during the winter, those dams are actually homes for a lot of different animals, beavers included, but a lot of different animals go in there for the protection and the warmth. And so beaver dams are a home to a bunch of different species. I watched a video about it once, but it was a long enough time ago that I can't tell you anything more. But you are totally correct. Once they hear flowing water, they are like, abso-flippin-lutely not. We cannot have any of this shenanigan. And so let's see here. So let's see here. Stosic, what the hell? You actually know the answer. Well then. Well, yeah, actually, they did a study and they found that playing a tape recorder full of running water encourages, even if there is no flowing water, the sound of flowing water is enough to make the beavers go build build a dam. And I think they use this, they found this out. They found this out and they have been using it as a method to move beavers from not a good place to build a dam to, hey, why don't you build a dam over here? So, so let's see here. And Stocies, thank you so much for helping me pronounce that name because I clearly did not. And, and so, let's see here. And I like betting on illegal chicken fights. Well, you're not the only one who bets on illegal chicken fights. There's there is a huge cockfighting culture in a lot of places. Hawaii is one of them. There's actually cockfighting that goes on in California a bunch. And I do not know for certain, but I have a suspicion that there is a cockfighting ring in my neighborhood as well. So I think that even though it's not really legal, as Andre pointed out, there's no state where cockfighting is legal. Even though it's not legal, I think it takes place just about everywhere. So I happen to know people in California who do it. So, so there you have it. But Shock is pointing it out, and Stosig, thank you so much for joining us because you sound like somebody who would definitely come in with some good topics to chatter about. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we talk about anything and everything. Basically, where the chatter scatters is where we go. So I want to thank you for joining us at the last minute, but it is time to wrap things up. 6:30 West Coast time is the end of the jam. So I'm going to see everybody hopefully Wednesday for the next stream of Chatter with Statter. 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. And Stosig, I don't know what time it would be in Romania, so hopefully you can do the math and join us on Wednesday. I'll bet you it'll be Thursday your time though. And let's do this again. So Andre, thank you so much for the biddies. It is time to wrap it up. All right. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. So yes, hopefully next time you will be here and having some some ideas to chatter about, because you know what? I'm going to look a little bit more into that beaver dam situation because a lot of you seem to think that the beavers don't live in the dam. And that makes me think that I might be remembering the movie that I was talking about wrong. So we just might talk about beavers on Wednesday. Alrighty then, y'all. Take care. See you soon.